sounds rude. And today I'm hanging out and having some ice cream with Nick True from Mapped Out Money.
Yeah.
And what kind of ice cream did you have?
I got the swirl because I can't decide.
I have vanilla because I spill it all over me. So tell people like your 30-second intro.
Sure, yeah. So my name is Nick True. I have a site called Mapped Out Money, and it mostly focuses on how to budget and manage your money aimed at 20-somethings who are really just trying to figure out how they can deal with their money so that they can get on doing whatever it is they really want to be doing. And then I also do freelancing, and that's kind of how I make my income. And that's, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
What do you think has really helped you out in just getting started in this, especially as someone who's 24?
Yeah. So I mean, when I left my old job and my old career to get into digital marketing and working online, I really didn't have the skill set for that. So at all. A lot of it was just Googling and learning on my own and like really trying to like, I guess, better my own skill set and learn that way. But in addition to that, the thing that's really helped me grow has been building relationships with a lot of the key players in some of our space, but then also just people who are slightly ahead of me that have been able to really help me along the way. So yeah, it's been a combination of Google and a combination of a lot of relationship building.
So how did you go about that? Because that, I think, is a sticking point for a lot of people is, yes, I want to build relationships.
Yep.
How do I do that in the online space?
Yeah, it's hard. And so for me, I think it's important to understand that if you go back just a little bit, when I was in high school and even early college, I really did not value relationships at all. And I was very analytical and type A and like super in my little world. And I wanted to work alone and do my thing. And then I read a book, I think it was freshman year of high school, called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, which is like a very stereotypical book that people read. But that book really, really changed like my whole outlook on relationship building and how important that really is. And so when I read that, it got me thinking about how, okay, really relationships are way more important than a lot of other things I could be pursuing. And that kind of kickstarted things for me. As far as the online space goes, it really just started with conferences. And
the geese have a lot to say about conferences. They're very opinionated.
See some dogs somewhere.
It's about conferences. Don't listen to him. So do you think, just as a segue to randomness, do you think that there is something about the proximity?
Totally. I do. Like, I think if you're not super close, I don't think you should ever use that as like some sort of objection to say like, oh well, I'm not close, so you know it's not going to happen for me.
If you live in Montana.
If you live in Montana, or like
close to nothing.
Exactly. But I do think that there is something to be said for FaceTime in person, and there's something to be said for regularly talking with other people who have similar goals and ambitions as you. And so if you're in a city where there are a lot of people doing that, then you definitely need to be taking advantage of it. And if you're not, you need to figure out a way to visit those kinds of cities or those kinds of people throughout the year.
So what would you recommend? Like in that, how do you build those deeper proximity relationships when you live in the middle of nowhere, Montana?
So I think social media combined with conferences, meaning when you go to conferences, if you just go and you haven't done any pre-work at all, it's not going to be a successful event for you. What needs to happen is you need to start doing pre-work months in advance by knowing the types of people who are probably going to go to that conference and then following them on probably Twitter, depending on the industry, but it could be Instagram or Facebook or whatever, wherever they're at. And like trying to engage with them, not in like a weird fanboy, fangirl way. You gotta be careful with that.
Like a normal human
But just like a normal human.
A
normal person.
Yes.
And starting to engage with them so that when you do show up to a conference, they maybe recognize your name or your face, and they can start putting two and two together. And then, if you're like super nerdy like me, you can, like, I actually keep a Google sheet of all the people's names that I want to make sure that I'm regularly keeping touch with. And I just have it in Google Docs, and I have names on this column and rows across the top as quarters of the year. And I try to make sure that I am having some form of interaction, whether it's a Skype call or see them at a conference or even just an email exchange with that list of people. And that list grows, you know, every time I go to a conference or meet somebody new.
Yeah. So I missed my first FinCon. I was so sad, but I fueled that sadness to say, okay, so I don't get FinCon, but I still want to build all these relationships.
Yep.
So I started hosting blogger Skype meetups.
Yeah, you killed it that year.
And I just, with anyone who would Skype and wanted to be part of our group,
Yep.
I was like, it's welcome for everybody.
Yep.
And I got to meet so many people, and I just Skyped with so many people, and I emailed so many people, and if anyone was coming through town, I'm like, we're getting together.
Yep.
But the first time I did get to go to FinCon, like I walked through the little thing, I registered.
Yep.
I came out the door about 15 feet, and I stood there for 4 hours.
Yep, I remember you standing there.
In one spot.
Yep.
Because everybody knew me.
I think I walked past 4 or 5 times and was like, are you still standing here?
Because like, it was right by registration,
Yep.
so everyone would go into and they're like,
Yep.
Jen!
Yep. And that was when you lost your voice by the second day.
There might have been a correlation. And because this is not obvious, how old are you?
24.
Yes.
I'll be 25 next week.
Just in case they thought you were 36
Yeah,
and a mountain man.
I'm not.
But you're not, he's 24.
I'm not.
So writing to 20-somethings,
Yeah,
Makes
it makes
sense.
sense.
Makes
That's
sense.
me.
you're in that season of life.
But if I shave my beard, I look 16. So it's like I add 10 years plus or minus depending.
Thank you all for watching. And I have one extra delicious surprise. So have you ever heard, this is the part where you feel nervous.
Okay, I feel nervous. It's a mission accomplished.
So have you ever heard of this thing called dance walking? Where you walk
No.
and dance
Nope.
at the same time.
Nope.
Want to give it a go?
Sure.
Okay, we're gonna cue the dancing music.